They got their money's worth. They got the win they wanted. Miami fans streaming out of American Airlines Arena, and I bet they cannot wait for Game 7 here on Thursday night after what they just witnessed here in Game 6. A classic finals win by the defending world champs, 103-100 in overtime. A whole bunch to talk about. What a terrific basketball game. First,
excellent game.
Wow. Matt Weiner, Shaq, Greg Anthony,
Woo.
Chris Webber. The Heat were down 5 with 28 seconds to go. They get 2 late threes, both after offensive rebounds. Second chances on both shots. Ray Allen ties it up with 5 seconds to go, and they win the game. I expect deep analysis on this.
I know we all heard the saying, never give up. Even being down 5, the Heat never panic. And my question is there's two people in this series you don't leave open. Danny Green and the great Ray Allen. The Spurs were supposed to win this game. They made a mistake. They left Ray Allen open in the corner. They hit the game. They got the crowd involved. Bada bam, bada bing. They win a game.
But to get to that point, it was what the Heat did at the start of the fourth quarter. Remember, they were down. They go on that 19-7 run, in essence, to start the fourth.
Right.
Done mostly by LeBron. I mean, the big block on Duncan.
Yes.
He made a lot of plays that gave his team confidence and put them in a position where they had a chance down the stretch. Unbelievable performance by him in a game where he was not very good for 3 quarters. I mean, he looked to, it was almost reminiscent of what we saw against the Mavericks back in 2011.
It's remarkable. He winds up with his 4th career finals triple-double after all that.
Yeah, and if I'm Ginobili, if I'm on that other side, you look at the turnovers of the Spurs in the fourth quarter, that's what really hurt. It took 2 teams to kind of have this epic fail in the last few seconds, and it just seemed like Ginobili, you know, he really wasn't as productive in his game as he would like to have been in those turnovers, 8 total, especially ones he had in the fourth quarter, seemed to hurt.
No Duncan down the stretch. And they're going to rehash that a lot, too. The substitution pattern by Greg Popovich, not to question him, but there's going to be some concern about how he handled that rotation in that fourth quarter.
Duncan had 30 points in 3 quarters. Through 3 quarters, did not score down the stretch at all for San Antonio. Let's take a look at the highlight from this epic Game 6 tonight here on the floor in Miami. LeBron James facing elimination once again.
That was the most confident he looked until the fourth quarter.
And there's Tim Duncan, who had a flashback to about 2003 for 3 quarters of this game. He was remarkable.
That's why
he played sweet. He played big. I think he took it kind of personal, C-Web. A lot of times he got it. He was waiting for the double. The double never came, so he said, you know what? I'm big fundamental, the greatest power forward in the game. This is what I'm going to do.
Not a petty, not a Manny, but a facial.
Absolutely, and the smack across the face for good measure for Kawhi Leonard
that was the
on
facial.
Mike Miller. Well, I thought it was just a face-to-face dunk with the smack for added emphasis. Mario Chalmers, bonus offense out of the Heat. He had 14 at the half, and they found themselves down. That seemed like an ominous sign for the defending champs. Duncan posts up Chris Bosh. He hit his first 8 shots in this game.
There was a play early in the first. You know, actually, it was Chris Bosh hit his first jumper. I seen the look on Tim Duncan's face. He came down, hit a shot at the glass. He was like, okay, here we go. But look at him, the young fundamental right there. Great pass by Diaw. Great finish by the big fundamental.
11 of 13 in the first half for 25 points at the break. Boris Diaw dives for the loose ball, finds Tony Parker, and 1. Spurs up by 4.
Tim Duncan put them in a position where they could have control going into this second half. And Kawhi Leonard, just another all-around solid performance here, just making play after play for the Spurs.
The Heat turned it over 15 times in this game. Leonard taking advantage there. James off on the 3.
They're going to continue to give him that shot. Luckily, late to force overtime, he hit, I think, 2 of them. But you see the big fundamental playing young. He putting up them C-Web numbers. 12 out of 15.
He finished with those 30 points. Chalmers wide open, locked and loaded for another 3. He had 4 of 5 from the great beyond, finished with 20 on the night.
That's what makes LeBron so tough, and that's why he gets triple doubles. You have to look at him. He's going to drive baseline, find you wide open, and right here, I'm sure everybody's going to love this. He loses his shoe, but let me tell you, people, it doesn't matter if you have your shoe on or off, as long as your follow-through is sick like that right there. Knocks it down.
Sock it to him, Mike Miller. Knocks down the 3.
He was waiting all day for that.
He was waiting. You can tell he was waiting on that.
It only happened 45 minutes ago. Miller. And then it's LeBron.
And keep in mind, this entire run came with both Bosh and Wade on the bench. LeBron James, 16 points in that fourth quarter.
And
there.
no headband. And no headband.
You know what? We may not see the headband in Game 7. I'm interested to see if that's going to be the case.
That'll be a discussion for the next 48 hours. James with the block on Duncan on one end, the bucket on the other end, and this was one of those moments where he just reminds you of his absurd talent level.
Yeah, he's a very talented player. I said before the game, when you're a superstar player, you got to force your will on the other team, and that's what he did late in the fourth quarter. Had 16 points in the fourth quarter. Actually brought him back. The others got confidence off the way he played, and they were able to win this game.
7-0 Miami run gives them the lead at 84-82. Actually wound up being 8-0.
Buckets.
Parker hits the step back three.
And I
we're
thought the
tied
Spurs
at
were going to
89.
win at this point.
Yeah.
I thought this game was the Spurs.
Another turnover by Miami. It's Parker with the steal on the other end. Tony all the way. He was 6 of 23 to get his 19 points.
That's either travel or great feet work. I'm not sure yet.
Spurs up 91-89, inside a minute. James inside, loses it. The Heat fouled Ginobili on the other end.
LeBron had 2 costly turnovers down the stretch. I actually thought the Spurs were going to win the game, but LeBron, right here, he misses the shot. They get it back. He hits this one. And then the one we talked about earlier, Ray Allen in the corner, they will make him tie the game up.
And credit Dwayne Wade on that possession. Keeping the ball alive, allowed the Heat to get that offensive rebound and gave LeBron a second chance.
It was Wade who tipped it, so 94-92 now.
And they fouled Kawhi Leonard.
Foul to give. Or excuse me, not a foul to give. They did foul Leonard, who hit 1 of 2 at the free throw line.
And let's face it, the biggest moment of Kawhi Leonard's career at the free throw line here with an opportunity to seal it potentially.
Gotta get them one big one.
At that point, the door is ajar. And Leonard does connect on the second one, so it's a 3-point, but more importantly, 1-possession game. Another huge offensive rebound here. James misses on the 3. This time it's Chris Bosh going up and getting maybe the biggest rebound of his life.
And look at it. There's no Tim Duncan on the floor right there, and you wonder if Tim was in. And, you heard Greg say earlier, it might be questions about the substitution and rotation, but the 2 big threes that we saw were off of offensive rebounds, not off of plays being called, and you wonder if they had the size in, would they have gotten those offensive rebounds?
Last chance for the Spurs, similar to the last play they ran at the end of the first half in Game 5. They let him get momentum going to the rim, but he couldn't connect.
A lot of contact there, but in this situation, probably not going to get that call. Here we are in overtime. Big fundamental. Couldn't do it down the stretch. Kawhi Leonard, wabap.
After the offensive board by Diaz, Spurs get out to a 99-97 lead. James out to Wade, little floater from him. And it's LeBron with the floater, excuse me.
Good use of the buddy ball right there.
Wade misses here. Spurs get the rebound. They elect not to call timeout. Ginobili.
And not to sub in Parker. Parker's on the bench right now.
And Ginobili turns it over. He had 6 of them. The star of Game 5 had a rough go of it in this one. 2 of 5
A lot of
from the
contact
field.
there, but probably not going to get it.
Officially 8 turnovers to go with his 9 points. Last chance for the Spurs and a block by Bosh.
And to give Bosh credit, offensively hasn't had the kind of numbers, but keep in mind with his responsibility having to deal with Tim Duncan in essence by himself, he came up big. Offensive rebounds, block shots down the stretch. He made the effort plays to help his team get to a 7th game.
Allen scored all 9 of his points in the fourth quarter or overtime. James gets his 4th career finals triple-double, 32, 10, and 11, but on 11 of 26 shooting.
That's okay.
Matt, they'll take it. The 20 points.
Matt, I have a question for the panel. Chris, Greg, the Heat exerted a lot of energy tonight. Will they have enough energy to finish off the Game 7 and be the champ?
Here's your game summary presented by Budweiser. The Heat win it tonight 103-100. 10 more assists for Miami. The turnovers wound up even at 15 apiece. We're joined now by Mike Miller, who got the start again tonight in Game 6. And let me check. Both shoes? Just making sure. Both shoes are still on. That's a play, since you guys won the game, that's a play you're going to see decades from now. You shooting a 3-pointer and a comeback win with one shoe.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I could do, to be honest with you. So let it fly. That's all.
Can't stop the game. How surprised are you, down by 5 with, what, 28 seconds to go, that you're sitting here after a win?
Obviously, it's one of those games. You know, anytime in the NBA Finals, you're going to have to find a way to win one of these type games. And going into the fourth quarter, obviously down 10 or 12, we made a lot of energy plays. LeBron got to the hoop, and we made some shots.
What was the conversation before tonight's game and now after the win? What was said in the locker room going into Game 7 on Thursday?
Going into the game, obviously, you know, we're right where we want to be. You know, it's one game at home. If you could, I know it's the old adage, but if you could start the beginning of the season and say you have one game at home to win a championship, you take it. So we're in a great spot right now. Obviously, it's gonna be another war on Thursday.
Mike, you're banged up. You're a little long in the tooth at this stage of your career. And the other thing about it is they're asking you to do things that aren't necessarily your strength at this time of the year. You're having to play big boy physical basketball, banging in the post, rebounding, not just being able to be that spot-up shooter that you'd like to. How's that transition for you? How's your body holding up?
Hold on. Long in the tooth means over 9 years. So you have to break that down. That was nice, Gregory. Wow.
Well, being long in the tooth, you gotta mix it up a little bit different. So, you know, obviously it's whatever it takes at this point. You know, I haven't played a whole lot of minutes this year, so coming in here, my body actually feels good. Obviously, after this, you know, you get banged up a little bit, but for the most part, my body feels good, and it's about getting in the fight right now. You know, it's whatever it takes. They're playing small, and we're playing small. It gives me and we're putting, you know, when we put LeBron on Tony Parker, when we're actually playing like a big, small lineup, that makes any sense. I've got to guard the fours, and so it's about rebounding and keeping them from getting offensive rebounds.
We always talk about how it's just a team game, and you guys have a solid team, even though you have the best player in the world and Dwayne Wade as well. But what is the mentality of you, Shane Battier, Chris Anderson, Haslam, because you didn't know you were going to start. You came in playing well. You know, just mentally, how are you ready for these adjustments, and what's you guys' mind frame, the other guys on this team?
Well, obviously for us, it's about filling in the gaps, you know what I mean, and making shots. A lot of the hustle plays. LeBron obviously carries a heavy load and does a lot. So whenever we can help him with hustle plays, it's big. You know, Chris Anderson brings unbelievable energy. UD brings energy. Shane's a glue guy. So we just got to make shots when we get them and, you know, fill in the gaps. Chris
Bosh said earlier today that Danny Green would not find himself open for all those threes he's been killing you guys with throughout the series. He only hit one. The cost of that was a lot of single coverage on Tim Duncan early in the game, and obviously he went off for 25 at the half. You had some foul trouble early on as you guys were banging down low with those guys. What was the discussion about how you would approach Duncan and the other bigs and keep on those shooters before you came in tonight?
Well, the great thing about basketball is you can't take away everything. Right. So obviously for us, it was about, you know, doing one thing, and that was taking away their shooting. They've done an unbelievable job of making shots. So, you know, Tim had a great first half, but you got to give something, and it didn't let them their shooters get going. It's really similar to what they're doing to us at sometimes. You know, making guys make long 2-point jump shots, and our job now is to close them out on Thursday if we can.
You know, there's a lot of talk coming into this game about what adjustments Eric Spoelstra would make. When did you know you were going to start tonight?
I pretty much know about Tip. You know, but
that's soon, huh?
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, for us right now, it's just, you know, it's time to go. You know, so whatever it takes.
Hey, congrats on the win. Look forward to Game 7. Where's that shoe going? What's going to happen to that shoe?
I'm gonna keep it.
It's a historic shoe.
Put it in the
now.
Smithsonian, like a museum.
I want to know what you're going to do with that sock.
You may get a call from the Hall of Fame on that, or the sock.
Good job, SEC.
Maybe you give them the sock. You keep the shoe.
That's right.
There you go.
He made this shot because he played college for the SEC conference.
No, he played for Florida.
Yeah, SEC. That's what I said.
Oh, my God.
Hey, what
SEC.
happened with y'all this year? I meant to tell you and Jay Will. I meant to ask you and Jay Will. What happened when y'all played?
Tim Duncan's night.
Oh,
SEC.
Y'all do know Louisville won it, right?
SEC.